Yellow, hello, hello. It's me. It's Red. It's your boy. It's Mr. 3D Man, as Mr. Six likes to say it. I'm here today to work on a restroom. Um, so, you don't really want to design a toilet, right? I thought about it. I don't really want to make a toilet, but I have to. That's just life, right? That's just how things go. You know, there are toilets in the world, and even if somebody lives in a fantasy, they still got to do what they got to do. So we're gonna make the world's prettiest bathroom today. We're gonna make a really nice bathroom. Last time I tried to make a bathroom, I made this shower, and I'm honestly not super into it. So I think we're gonna redo this. I'm getting suggestions to just make a hole or to make a bidet. We're gonna go halfway between those two. So I'm gonna go and throw on some music, and we'll stick right into it. Oh, my Spotify got super weird. I went on a bit of a Spotify kick last night, so I rearranged everything, as I tend to do every couple of months, because I am a sociopath. All right, so we're back. We're here. I got everything set up. I'm looking good. I believe we're good to go. Simo, hello. So, for anybody who doesn't remember, this is the big water city thing. I didn't say a lot about it because it's for a project that I'm working on. So you'll see in due time. Soon enough, you'll see what this is all for. I don't want to give you guys a time range, but I'm hoping maybe like a week or two from now. I know I'm pretty bad at keeping deadlines, but I've like gone through full pre-production and I'm pretty close to being done on this thing. I just have to do like the tedious, boring part of it, which I'm not good at doing because I get bored easily. But anyway, you'll remember this place. This is the little apartment complex we made with our cool little paintings and this and that. And that's the size of a person, apparently, which I'm not loving the more I look at it, but sure. So we're going to keep working on this. This is the goal today. But we're going to make the bathroom, which is back here. So let's get back into it. And I'm going to remove the structure so we don't just look at things that we don't need to look at. And we got ourselves a shower. So I'm going to move the shower over to, come on. I'm going to move the shower over to the center. Shower's right here, bada boom. I didn't realize how big this scene was, but it's actually kind of a huge scene to work on, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and stick our shower right here in the center, which I can't find the center, and we'll get working. So first things first, what am I going to do? Well, I am going to start by making the toilet. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't make the toilet first. Maybe let's make a new shower. That's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with a brand new shower. So let's replace this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and make ourselves a collection. Collection is going to be right there. Where'd the collection go? Hello? Okay, it just went missing. I made a collection and it's gone. Where have you gone? There he is. There's a new collection called Bedroom 3 for some reason. So we're just going to move that to the main scene collection, and we're going to make sure we click the scene so we put everything in the scene. And I'm going to call you Bathroom. I'm going to move a couple of these just to kind of simplify a little bit, but then we're ready to go. Sniper, what's up? How's everybody been? I feel like I don't ask enough. How are you all doing? Why is it so hot outside? Dude, I don't know. Global warming, I suppose. That's not how global warming works. Before anybody misquotes me, that's not how it works. But you know, was an easy joke. All right, so I'm gonna pop in the shower to the bathroom. We're gonna turn on the bathroom. We're gonna go ahead and work on this. So first things first, I want to redo the shower. We're going full fantasy. I'm thinking about things in brand new, fantastical kind of ways. And this is a very real shower. I don't want real. I don't want a real shower. I want something made up. What am I making? Okay, so I made I'll just, you know what, I'll turn it all on so you can see everything. There we go. Hello? What am I missing? I'm missing... Oh, I turned all of that off. There we go. Now we're back. So I made this. This is a little city scene that I've been working on. So I'm just kind of doing this thing. There's a lot to be said about this, but not a lot of time to say it with. And then I designed a bedroom for one of these rooms. And now I am slowly just filling out details for it. So we spent a stream where we worked on the little park here. We did a stream where we did the bedroom, and now we're doing a stream where we do the restroom. So that's the goal today. I got a toxic mushroom, which, you know, whatever. That is what it is. So let's go for it. Almost lost my mind today trying to get Unreal lighting maps to work correctly. Dude. Okay, I feel like this isn't going to be the worst thing in the world just to say. Hold on. Cursor to world origin. There we go. I tried to make a... what would you call it? What are those things called? Oh, my brain. I can't think of the word for it. Mirror maze. Like a haunted house, right? The kind where there's a bunch of mirrors and you walk around and, you know, there's like a hexagon of mirrors and you run into them if you go in the wrong direction and stuff like that. I tried to make one of those in Unreal, and it was just a disaster. It was just like the worst thing in the universe. Actually, I got a different idea for this guy. We're going to do it just like that. Look at that. That's going to look so clean right there. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to make this big old mirror maze, and it just doesn't want to work at all. Game engines don't like mirrors. Yeah. It's actually a pretty easy fix to get the mirrors working, but you got to, like, do the skybox in a really weird way, and it's just... Ugh. It's the worst. It's awful, awful, awful. Okay, so I got this, right? We're looking at this. This looks good. Let's go ahead and go for it. We got a BRB from Sniper. No problem at all. You're good. You live your absolute best life. All right, so I'm going to turn on to Y, scale this down, and realistically, all I need to do is just make sure that these guys line up. Pretty easy. Just like that. And we'll go ahead and stretch them out just a little bit. Boom. We're looking pretty good. So this is going to be the start of the wall that divides our shower. I kind of, you know what? I kind of want to bring it in a little bit. Every time I 3D model something, I get stuck in that routine where I'm like, I'm trying to make things perfect. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, people who make stuff don't make things perfect. People that make things cheap. Like, 100% of the time, they make things cheap. They don't make things good. So I need to get in the mentality of making things cheaply, and I think that'll help me make things a little bit faster as well. So that's what we're going to do here. If, you know, you're taking a shower and your water comes behind this little glass panel, we made it cheaply. Who cares, right? You can always map a camera to a surface, but that is obviously pretty resource heavy. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. You can get mirrors working in Unreal not too bad. Again, it's the sky map. The sky map hates it. Okay, so we're going to shade this guy smooth. And I'm debating if I want to try... Yeah, I do want to do this. Hold on. I got it. We're going to apply scale first. I'm going to turn down the music in my headset because I did some audio settings and I think it's louder for me than it is for you. So we're just going to go ahead and call that real quick. Okay, so if I know what I'm doing, and Lord knows if I know what I'm doing, I should be able to do this, and I should be able to squeeze them in just a little bit. SY, just like that. And I should be able to extrude along normals just a little bit. And we should have a little recess for the glass to sit in. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, we're here. We're getting there. I'm going to go ahead and bevel these edges just a little bit, just to really show it the what for. I'm going to use maybe like a 4 instead. And you look at this and you're like, yeah, that's fine. That's a little glass wall, no problem. So now I just got to make a shower head and I'm done. Shower head, and I kind of just want to reuse this valve because I'm pretty proud of the valve. The valve is like the best part of this whole build. Like that is good looking. No reason to hate on this guy. So cool. And then that handle is like the worst thing I've ever made. So goodbye to you. Okay, so let's make a shower head. I'm going to start by reusing this one, and we're going to see if it works. I don't think it works. I thought I did some cool stuff with the shower head. I think it is kind of a nice looking shower head, but I don't think it's the one. And dare I say, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. I do have a copy of it in another file somewhere, so worst comes to worst, I can grab it back. But we're just going to go ahead and go for it. Boom. Make sure it's facing the right direction. Oh, no, hold on. Hold on. You have to be turned at 90 degrees, and you have to be turned 90 degrees, and then we're set. That didn't work. Okay, so if I grab both of them and I just turn it like this, then it works, no problem. Okay. Positive 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees, I don't know. Blender makes no sense. Simo, your work in Unreal. Hey, welcome back, Sniper. That was a quick BRB. Simo, what are you doing in Unreal? I know you're always just kind of doing stuff, but like, what are you making? If you can share with us. What's the thing? There we go. Okay, so we got a little faucet, right? Probably should be a little bit further over, honestly. Oh, the floating island scene. Got it. How do we feel about this as a shower head? Nothing gameplay-wise. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of C++. Luckily, I have a computer science background, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But, man, it's not the most fun thing in the world. It's a waffle. It do be looking like a waffle. I kind of want a different shower head. Shower heads are hard to make. Sniper, you're also doing Unreal? Okay, what are you making? What's your goal? In my mind, you will never be 14. You're not allowed to be 14 in my mind. If you are, that's great. That's a compliment. I'm giving you a compliment, but there's no way you're 14. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop on over here, and we're looking at shower heads once again. Welcome back. This is the shower head stream. This is all I ever look at. When I go offline, I just stare at shower heads, honestly. Oh, a floating island scene, but you do plan on making a game? I think, most 3D modelers probably want to make a game, right? Kind of thinking we want to make a circular one. What I should be looking at is like redneck shower heads, right? I should be looking at stuff that people made. Hold on, this is gonna go bad. Redneck shower heads. We're gonna be very careful. We're gonna be very careful that this doesn't go bad. We're gonna keep our hand on the trigger. See, that's what I want. Just like junk. Okay, they're fine. They're not naked. None of this looks very redneck. This looks very nice. This does not look redneck at all. I mean, that's redneck, but I'm not going that far. Do the dinosaur one? I keep looking at it, honestly. Man. Shower heads are just, they're like all exactly the same. Look up old shower head. That's a great, thank you. Old shower head. Also, I changed my settings to not show search settings, and I see it showing search settings. So I need to fix that. Somebody was right. Somebody mentioned that every time I go online, you just see my history, which is fine. I don't have anything to hide, but probably should just not do that. These all just look the same. Every shower is identical. Oh, I like that. That looks like it. You put that on and it'll like shave hair off your chest. Why don't you want us to see your history? I don't care if you see my history, but it's just kind of a bad look. And if I am working on like a secret project or something and I Google something, somebody could go back and watch the VOD and pause it and look and yeah, it's not a good look. It's a bad look, even if I have good intentions with it. So I need to fix that. Man. You know what? I'm going to invent a new shower head. Is this going to be the dumbest idea I've ever seen? Remember the spider. Remember the spider. The spider. What are we talking about with the spider? Remember the spider. You've said a phrase that's really. Oh, the bath spider. Are we talking about your fear of like closing your eyes in the bath and having a spider crawl? I do remember that. I'm pretty sure that was a CQDKism, but oh, yes, the thing that I won't say out loud. Absolutely. All right, so that's one more point to you're not 14. But we'll move on from that one. Okay, so what do I want to be doing here? Here's the idea. Here's the idea. I'm going to make a waterfall. I'm making a waterfall sort of thing. This is going to get weird quick. Because one, it's fun to say that you're not. And two, it feels like you're not. Mostly it's just fun to say though. Whether you are or not really doesn't make a big difference. It's just kind of a thing. All right, let's go ahead and merge by distance, get rid of 2 of those vertices, and I'm going to go ahead and tilt this guy. Don't know what that is. I'm going to look it up. No, don't look it up. It's fake. It's not a real thing. You're good. No worries. You go live your best life. All right, so don't look it up. It's not a thing. Please don't look it up. All right, so let's go on from here. I'm looking at the size of this, and I'm like, I don't know if this is sized correctly. It looks a little bit bizarre. You guys are going to have to trust me on this one for just a second. You guys are just going to have to trust me for just a moment here. I know it looks a little weird. I promise I'll fix it. I'm going to go ahead and dissolve these 2 edges real quick. We're going to pop in 2 more and make them a lot wider, and then we'll go for it. Just like that. Okay, and now I want to just try a subdivision surface and see what that gives us. Looks a little bit like you packed a sausage. Looks a little bit like a weird sausage. Think I will stay away from that? Yeah, it's probably in your best interest. People say that Blender UI sucks, but using Unreal, I'm convinced that Blender has one of the best UIs out there. I could not agree more. Holy cow, the Unreal interface is awful. How is it like an industry standard thing? It's so bad. I could not agree with you more. It is just the worst. Oh, this is going to work. This is going to work real well. At least it's consistent. Yeah, it's super annoying. And I take it for granted because, Blender is open source and we don't think about open source stuff being quality all of the time. When usually it is. Let me just preface that by saying usually it is quality. But Unreal doesn't let you change any of the like UI settings. So you're just stuck with the way it works. Like if I'm used to a different piece of software, I should have the ability to be like, I want this to work like Maya. I want this to work like Blender. I want this to work like Houdini. But Unreal's like, nah, it works the way it works for us. So if you're training a team to use Unreal, they have to, like, no matter what, learn like a brand new system for no reason. It drives me nuts. Okay, there we go. So this is my shower head. So it shoots a thing of water that arcs and makes a little waterfall. I think that fits a little bit with the theme of this. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. And Unreal Engine 4 duplicating in viewport is Alt plus drag. In the shader graph, it's Control plus W. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what is wrong with Unreal. Are you still using 4 or are you on a 5? Okay, so I'm going to do SY0. I will say 5 has fixed a little bit. I wouldn't say it's great. 4 for now? Yeah, I think I'm just going straight into 5. I've used 5 a little bit at this point, and I like it a lot. It's a really, like, nice upgrade in my opinion. It hasn't fixed everything. Don't get me wrong. We still got problems, but it feels a lot nicer. Okay, so it looks a little bit like a vacuum cleaner, if I'm being perfectly honest. Looks a little bit like a vacuum cleaner. Man, I'm having trouble really thinking about this guy. Turns out making a shower head from scratch is actually pretty hard to do. Never mind, you'll watch me. What happened? You were going to watch somebody else and they're being weird or boring or something came up? All right, so all I want to do is just work on this and say, does this look like a weird, gross vacuum cleaner? And that doesn't look too bad. They're playing Battlefield. Do you not like Battlefield? All right, so that's my weirdo shower head. You know what? I'm actually proud of it. It is indeed a vacuum cleaner. Like, by all known laws of aviation, this is a vacuum cleaner. Okay, so that's the shower. I'm gonna keep this shower head just in case, because I'm not sure I love this, but we'll get it there. I'm gonna call this shower divider. We're gonna call this shower divider glass. Shower divider glass. I'm gonna call this shower head 2. And we're gonna call you, you're already there, perfect. So let's poke all this up into our shower. I'm going to work on materials for the glass in just a little bit, but we're going to skip that for now. I'm going to stick to just the bathroom. And let's go ahead and make the pièce de résistance. So, what do we think about when we think about toilets? I'm going to tell you what we think about. I think about medieval toilets. If I make a game, I need a cool idea. I'm going to tell you straight up, you should focus on learning your UI before you worry about big picture stuff. So, yeah. So these are medieval toilets, right? This is what medieval toilets look like. They're kind of cool. They're interesting. I'm into them. I like them. So we're going to do our best to replicate this look. So I'm going to try and make this as best as I can. So I have a procedure for how I want to do this, and I have a shape generally in my mind. So let's go for it. Looks painful. We can always add a little bit of a seat to it. But for the most part, that's how I want it to look. Okay, so let's put you over here. I'm going to go ahead and subdivide twice. That should be perfect. That should be all right. It's right there. I'm going to go ahead and dissolve all of these faces together. We're going to go ahead and inset this top face just a little bit. That looks a little weird. I don't know why that looks so weird, but sure. We're going to go ahead and make a circle out of it and then inset it more. And we're going to scooch it on forward. And I'm sure you can very easily see what I'm doing right now. So what we want to do is just delete that face. And come on down and delete these guys. And then I'm going to grab you two. And we're going. There we go. What this little hole does, I don't know. I don't know. It looks like a keyhole. I don't know why. But I'll take it. So I want to go ahead and take this keyhole. Come on, come on. We're going to bevel that. We can't bevel that. So instead, I'm going to connect you here with a J, you here with a J, and we're going to go for it. Well, it makes sense when you think about it. All right, Simo, I'm going to need your report. Explain. Oh, I just want it to bend. Why can't I just bend this? Like, if I just do that, we have the worst looking geometry I've ever seen in my life. What are you talking about? There's no way. They're over here. They don't do that. In my mind, I think it has to be like a cleaning thing. Okay, that didn't work at all. That's not at all what I wanted. What the heck? Why is it not? What about this one? No. What? Okay, so here, let's grab these two. Let's scoot these down. Just like that. Come on, please work. Please work. I know you want to work. There we go. That's sort of an interesting shape. I don't know why it's not... You know, that's kind of a cool shape. I'm going to keep that. That's fine. I can live with that. That's a cool shape. Now I need to fix this because that's a blade. And ain't nobody going to allow a blade that close to anything. So let's fix this. And I think I see how to fix it. Well, there's one. And here's two. There we go. Is that good enough for me? That's good enough for me. I don't care. That'll do just fine. So we're going to go ahead and add two modifiers to this. We're going to add a solidify with a pretty decent amount of thickness. 0.05 should be fine. Eek, yikes. That looks not good. And then I'm going to also add a bevel to it. The bevel should probably go before the solidify, but we'll put it afterwards just in case. Perfect. That is much better looking. Look at that. Look how clean that looks. Let's up the bevel if we can. Part of me wants to add a subdivision to this. I think that's probably not a good idea. So we're going to not do that. And now I'm looking at it, and I think I have one idea. This could be terrible. This could be the worst idea of my life. You know what? Should it be a cylinder? Because I'm thinking about this, right? And this plugs directly into your wall. If people are making something cheap, they're not going to let you plug it into the wall. Let's make a cylinder real quick. I'm going to try once with a cylinder, and we're going to see if we can just do it real fast. Now that we know what we're doing. Get in here. Come on. We're going to go ahead and poke a little hole in there. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. Push the hole forward. Delete. I'm going to go ahead and pop just one subdivision there, and I can change the size of it later. Boom, 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 boom. Delete. And we should be good. Right? If I know what I'm doing, we should be all right. This should be a done deal. It actually looks a lot better at this angle than it did previously. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and move all of this up. Like that. And then we're going to move this guy down. Make the little keyhole. And then we got to fix this. And then we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and grab you and just dissolve. Grab you, and we do a little bevel. That looks much better, doesn't it? Unicorn Boy 3D guy. It was only a matter of time until Mr. Six showed up. Mr. Six, I have a new thing in the channel points, which is mostly for you. Okay, so I want to copy modifiers. Nope. From you to you. And I want to copy modifiers. There we go. Look at that. I'm efficient. I can do things quickly. I do. I do have a little thing for you. Oh, I prefer this one so much more. That looks so much better. Yeah, that's the one we're keeping. Okay, so that looks like a real toilet. All right, let's get into it. What we probably want to do is make the seating a little bit nicer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this. Yep, just like that. Exactly like that. Grab you, JU to the end. Grab you, JU to the end. Yep, that should make things a lot more convenient. And that way we have an official way to handle inquiries. Because I have a feeling if things get any bigger, it's going to be kind of hard for me to keep up with it all. So I figured I'd come up with a smart way around it. I could ask 80 questions with that. Get started, I guess. Feel free. I'm going to add a subdivision to the end. Oh, maybe we should just subdivision. Oh, that's actually kind of a nice little feature, though. Hold on. Oh gosh, this is running super slow. Do you procrastinate a lot? An exceptional amount. I actually started this Twitch channel as a means of combating my my procrastination. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now is so that I don't procrastinate. So yeah, 100% a procrastinator. Always have been. Hopefully won't always will be, but probably always will be. You know what? I'm looking at this now. New idea, new idea. Why does it look bad? Because it's spiky. And we don't want spikes. We want a nice little ridge for you to put your tush down on. So let's make ourselves a nice little ridge to put your tush down on. So what I want is to grab all of you. Nope. All of you. All of you. Boom, boom. I'm procrastinating right now. You're gonna go model? All right. If you make anything cool, let's see it in the Discord. I love showing people stuff off. That looks good. That's fine. I might raise the back half a little bit more. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sniper. Are you at work, Mr. Six? What are you up to? What are you doing? You know what? I think I'm okay with this. I think I'm done. I think that is a toilet. That's perfectly fine for me. If you want to say that it doesn't look very good or it doesn't look very comfortable, that might be the point. I don't think the people that are using these things are, like, super stoked to be using them. What does that look like? Nah. Just doing a important paper today. You're in college, correct? You know what? I'm going to add one more detail. We got one more detail here. This one's going to sell it. This one's going to sell the whole idea. Trust me. Yep. Well, good. Good on you for, you know, keeping up with what you're supposed to be doing. Can't be that big of a procrastinator. Unless you're not doing the paper to watch this, which I assume is what you meant. There we go. Boom. That's a little fantasy toilet. I can live with this. I can absolutely live with this. This is cool. What's college like? There's a good question. Man, I have a lot of stories about college, but I'd love to hear everybody else's college stories. Just taking a 5? I mean, that's fine. I appreciate that you're taking your 5 with me. That's very honoring. You are also half procrastinating? I mean, everybody procrastinates. That's just a way of life. Ain't nothing to be too down on yourself about. It's when it sort of becomes overbearing or almost like addictive. That's when it's a huge issue. You have to be very careful when procrastination becomes like a mental thing. Which, unfortunately, is more common than a lot of people give credit to. There we go. That is just about right to me. Look at that. That looks so good. That looks perfect. What education level is college? I never remember. It's university. So it is after 12th grade. There we go. Look at this perfect toilet. I'm actually very proud of this. I am super proud of this. I mean, this is great. 12th grade. It's after high school. It's after primary school. I'm in my first semester. I didn't get to know my school building yet. It's been online for now. First semester? Are you 18? I guess I gotta ask if you live in a country where you can work in a bar at the age of 18. For the most part, over here, that's not allowed. Yes, we have 12. We actually have, like, a lot. Okay, you're 21. I understand. Perfect. That makes sense. You're good. Yes, we have 12 grades. We actually have, like, 13 grades. You work at the bar since you were 13? Is it family owned, or how did that happen? Okay, so we got a toilet. I'm actually really proud of this toilet. It could not have gone better, in my opinion. What age are you typically in college? Usually you start college at the age of 18 and you stay until around 22. I graduated at 23 because I didn't know what I was doing with my life. But all things considered, I actually got out pretty quick despite that. The owner is my dad. Well, there you go. I think you've actually said that before. I'm sorry for making you repeat that. I do think you've mentioned that before. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's make ourselves a few extra details. I kind of want to put a rug in here. I kind of want to put a rug in here. Let's start with a drain. Let's make a little drain. I'm going to make a drain that is usable. This is going to get weird quick. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a circle. 32. We'll go ahead and pop that over here. Bada boom. Now I got to go ahead and subdivide this thing, which I don't think you can do with a circle. You cannot do with a circle. So instead, I want to Control F, grid fill it. Yes. Grid fill. This'll work. I started college a little bit late, but here we don't have intuition. Does that mean something different? Because over here, intuition is like your ability to think ahead of things. Is that what you mean? Because that'd be pretty self-deprecating. No, the other thing. I don't know what the other thing is. What do you mean by the other thing? American school systems are so different to ours. Absolutely. Oh, tuition. You're talking about tuition. Yes. Hey, look, not all of us have intuition either. Okay, so to answer the questions, the way the schooling system works in the United States is you start kindergarten at the age of 4, and then at the age of 5, you start first grade. And every year it goes up a grade. So first, second, third, fourth, all the way up to 12th grade, where you're 18. When you're 17, you start 12th grade. And you go until you're 18 and you graduate. And then you go to college. Or you don't. Or whatever you want to do, I guess. And that is the school system in the United States. For the most part, that's how it works. You can skip kindergarten, I think, or at least you used to be able to skip kindergarten. I don't know if you can anymore. And you can get held back in high school, and so you could actually be like a 19-year-old in 12th grade if you do really bad. But that's pretty uncommon. I knew a lot of students who were not good that just didn't. They just didn't care. And they still graduated. Like, it was still just fine. So it's pretty rare to get held back. The people who get held back are usually like people that are violent, people that are like bullies. Usually people that, don't want to try in school are not the ones who get held back. They just get put into like worse classes. And that's our weirdo schooling system, pretty much. I actually don't really dislike the American schooling system. I just really dislike the curriculum. I think it's really frustrating how much time gets wasted for kids in school here. You just end up wasting so much time doing like nothing. And it just makes no sense. So that's the thing that gets me. As far as the actual like way that it works, I actually like the way that it works. I like our schooling system. I just wish they cared a little bit more about the kids instead of their paychecks. But that's capitalism in a nutshell. All right, there we go. That's a shower drain. Really nice looking shower drain. The origin, it looked like there was something moving over here, but I think the origin's at the correct spot, so I think we're good to go. So I'm going to just pop a shower drain over here, and it's actually probably supposed to be a little bit further in because we want to have a little bit of a slope here. Am I going to make the slope? Probably not, but theoretically there will be a slope there. So yeah, boom. Now it's coming together. Look at this. I'm actually going to get rid of that. I like the toilet that we have. What next? Well, I'm going to go ahead and do one thing real quick. I really want a plant in here. I imagine a toilet that works like this is probably not the nicest smelling thing on earth. So I'm going to make us a little flower pot that you hang on the wall. And this will be a normal sort of thing that people here have. Here is the same in particular schools, but in public ones, which is hard to enter, it's nice as heck. Hey, Beryl. I'm doing good. Okay, Beryl has suggested everybody take a drink of water. Everybody take a nice drink of water. Beryl, I'm doing good. How are you doing? We have primary school from 7 to 16, which is mandatory. Then you can choose to go to a vocation school or a high school, and after those, university or University of Applied Sciences. That sounds a little bit more complicated. Tomorrow, ID Day. Tomorrow is day. What? What are you talking about? Beryl, what are you talking about? Let's grab this one. I'm going to make just kind of a cool looking flower pot as best as I can. Tomorrow is the day of his ID. That was about the most Mr. Six comment I could have expected. There we go. That is a good shape for a planter. Honestly, I think your system of schooling sounds a little bit weirder, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think the fact that we have kindergarten is very strange. I think you should just, like, start school when you start school. And that's that. The fact that we have a kindergarten is very weird to me. But, as far as, like, grades go, I think that makes sense. I like the grade system. Tomorrow is your final oral exams. And then what happens? You get your degree, or you have another year, or what do you got coming up after that? Okay, so I probably want to SY0 and then pull these guys back just a little bit. Oh gosh, this looks weird. Something weird's happening. You know what? I'm going to grab all of this. Why would I not just do all of this and go SY0? Problem solved. Fixed it. We have grades in primary school too, 1 through 9. Yeah, but you start school at 7. I'll do my work, be back in a bit. No worries, you do you. Yeah, why do you start school at 7? And the vocational school, I don't really get why that's like a separate thing either. That's the stuff that's a little mysterious to me. Okay, so I'm getting a little sniffly, and I'm not sure why. I haven't been sick in a little bit. The weather has been mostly good, but all of a sudden I'm getting sniffly, so I think I'm allergic to you guys. But I'll manage. You can go to kindergarten, but it's not mandatory like primary school. Yeah, that's the same for us. Then I got to a university, no longer suffer mentally. I mean, I don't want to be bleak, but university is tough. Like, Beryl, I think you've been doing good work. I think you've been very conscious since you first joined the chat and you started talking to us, and I think that's exceptional. And I have nothing but mad respect for you. But like the work you're going to be doing in school is going to affect you roughly the same throughout your life, including like working world and all that sort of stuff. I would focus a little bit more on like just feeling comfortable with that than like quote unquote waiting until the problem goes away. In my experience, waiting for problems to go away never works. And I don't say that to be bleak. I'm not saying that to like, make anybody feel down or whatever, but usually you have to just solve problems. And all of that being said, I think you're doing a good job. I think you've been like really on it lately. So, good work. Congrats. Okay, this is fine. I can live with this. I probably want to bevel all of this out like this. Hey, what's up, Glaze? Let's see. Point 2. Found you while browsing the art section? Well, that's very appreciated. How are you doing, Glaze? The vocational school versus high school thing is kind of weird. In vocational school, you learn a craft and you can work in the field after, but high school is more of a general education where you're meant to continue studies from there. Yeah, so for us, college, university, and vocational school are all the same thing. Like, it's all identical. Like, there is no break. There are these weird like vocational high schools that you can go to instead of high school, and it's a replacement kind of like it is over there, but they're usually like marketing things, and the people who go there still have to go to college anyway, so I don't know. I've been stressing about this very exam, or rather exams, for 4 months now. It'd be a huge weight off my shoulders. Absolutely. And when your summer starts up, you'll be ready to like get into it. You'll feel like super good to just like enjoy your summer. Absolutely, man. Couldn't agree more. I'm gonna add a little bit of a break here. So Glaze, since you're new here, I always like to ask: are you a 3D modeler? Are you an artist? What do you do? What brought you here? Boom. Look how clean that looks. Oh, it looks good. I'm going to hang that straight on the wall. No problem. Okay, so let's throw a little bit of dirt in here, and then I'm going to try and make a flower. Suggestions for flowers. We're trying to make a bathroom smell better, so ideas for flowers would be nice. Vocational school is actually good and practical. You can pretty much continue to higher education after that too, like I did. Yeah, I wish that's how it was over here. Okay, so I gotta vote for lavender, which is how I was feeling going into this. So I'm kind of biased towards lavender. I do a bit of everything when it comes to art. Whenever I'm bored, I just click around on random streamers and see if they catch my eye. And you were talking about education, which interests me. Well, there you go. We kind of just get lost into talking about all sorts of stuff here. Every one of those are free. Yeah. That's the United States for you. Nothing's free, ever. And the people who pay the price are not the people who benefit from it existing in the first place. Glaze, have you made anything that I can show off on stream? Have you made any special art that I can... I said special art. I felt weird about that. Let's take special art out of it. Have you made any art that I could show off to everybody? I'm going to call this flower dirt. We're going to call this flower pot. That's what I like about smaller streamers. It's more personal and interactive experience compared to bigger ones where it feels like you're watching TV. Yeah, it's a real like compromise, right? If for whatever reason I blew up, which I don't think I have the ability to blow up because we're making kind of niche stuff over here, but if ever I blew up, I wouldn't be against making a living off of this, but I would always want to like find a way to preserve this. I'd probably be like somebody that would do a sub only chat, and I think I'd make a lot of people upset, but like, man, the last thing I'd ever want as a streamer is just to have like a waterfall of text that I can't read. Ugh, that sounds awful. I'm sure it's great, and I'm sure if you make like, you know, $1,000 every week, who cares? But I don't know. It's not what I want to do. That ain't my routine. I don't disparage people like that. I love big streamers, but yeah, couldn't be me. I do 3D and 2D digital art, the music, but we don't have to talk about that. I also do music. Is it okay if I link my Instagram? Absolutely. Feel free. I'll show it off. All right, we got ourselves a little Instagram. Let's take a little break to check out Glaze's work. When you say special art like that, I feel like you're talking about... Nope, I'm not saying that. Whoa. Yo, Glaze. Glaze, this is cool. All right, so part of a music group. Good for you. Make your own music as well. Check out my website. So music's kind of like your number one thing. That's it. We got some real cool stuff. Oh, look how good this is. Love it. I'm loving the Mario. Oh, what the heck? Yo, you're good. Yo, you're awesome. Really cool stuff. That's really cool stuff. I don't know how we always get the coolest people. Making me blush. Thanks, man. No worries. No problem at all. I mean, I just say it how I see it. Okay, so tips for flowers. What kind of flowers do we want while we're here? Give me ideas for flowers, folks. Oh no, I gotta fix Streamlabs. Yes, the Discord does exist. Thank you, Streamlabs. In about 15 minutes, when it tells us to suggest a sketch using channel points. Oops, I forgot to fix that. Eggplant in a hoodie. I do like the eggplant in a hoodie. All right, so let's go ahead and make ourselves a sink. I'm going to make a sink, and then we're going to put plants in there, because I know the plants are going to be the hardest thing for me to do, because I am not very good at that. So a sink. When I think of a sink, this is what I think of. Here's what I'm thinking. Push you on over here. Scale you down, obviously. I kind of want to get rid of that camera. Goodbye, camera. All right, so a sink. So when we're looking at a sink, we want to go like this. Let that sink in. It's cold outside. What the heck? Was that like a pun mixed with a fact? Did you just hit us with like a very cerebral pun? What was that? Okay, so I'm going to do this. Pop you on up just like that. Bring you on down. A pun mixed with a fact. A cerebral pun. It is a cerebral pun. Just like... That's my kind of humor. Honestly. I love stuff where it's like a fact or something that's very serious, but then you like put a funny little thing in there and everybody's just kind of like, what? Allow that sink to come inside. All right, I know that one. I'm aware of that one. You can't trick me on that one. Okay, that's too big for a sink. That's about right for a sink. In fact, this part is probably a little bit too big for a sink, but I want to scale it only on this axis. Like that. Is that too thin for a sink? I don't know. Having a hard time really thinking about this. So, cool. That's it. Bada boom, bada boom. I'd love to stay, but I don't promise my mates a movie real time soon, so I got to dip. It seems really chill and a fun time to be in the stream, but next time, hit you up with a follow. Hey, thank you. Got our little Pikmin activation. We'll take it easy, Glaze. All right, so that is that. Man, I am not really seeing how this is going to work out. So that's a perfect circle, right? No problem. And we loop overlap. That's fine. And now I grab you and you, you, and you. And we're going to bevel those to make a sync. Looks a little bit better. And let's do the same thing at the bottom, right? This should work. I don't know how we always get the coolest people. You gotta fit the siphon. Can you explain to me what that means? As somebody who is not in the sync world. What do you mean by siphon? I know a siphon is like a piece of a sink, but I don't know what exactly the piece that is. Because there is a special point to this sink. There is an extra little thing. Whoa! The bendy tube under the sink. I don't think we need to worry about that. Just going to put that out there. I don't think we need to worry too much about that. And you'll see why in just a second. Okay, so I'm looking at this. You know, we've done something really wrong, and I know exactly what it is. It's a two-part process. First, we got to unmerge all of this by distance. Then we put this guy back on. And then I'm going to smooth it. And here's where we're going to fix this. I'm going to dissolve these edges. Keeps the canal gases outside your sink. We'll get there. Trust me. I have an idea. That should do right there. I didn't know I was going to be subsurfacing, and now that I am subsurfacing, it's looking a little bit bad. SEMO's about to lose their mind, which, me too. I kind of thought this was going to be easy. And then I did this. Okay, so we're going to merge at last. And I'm going to repeat the process until we make nice little bits. There we go. This should be just a little bit nicer for us. Same thing here. And now it's not that bad. You can be the judge of whether you think it's bad or not, because I know everybody thinks it's actually bad, but color me not that upset. Color me not that upset. This is fine. Again, I'm not putting this in a game. This is a different kind of project. I'm not that bad. Or I'm not that sad. I'm definitely bad. I'm not that sad. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab all of the bottom of this guy. Actually, I want to grab each of you and merge at center. And now I should be able to go like that. I can. Make it flat. I kind of want to fix this up a little bit, but I don't think I have a great way to do it. Why do you make those weird pulls everywhere? The short answer? I don't know. The short answer is I don't know. I just do what feels right. There we go. So we got this. Bring it down. Okay, so let's remove the subsurface real quick. We're going to do this, bring it up just a little bit. We're going to inset one more time, bring it down. Right there. And we're going to inset once more. Oh, that is such a yikes. You know what? Why is this such a yikes? So I was playing Heroes of the Storm the other day. It's a very volatile game, and I don't recommend anybody ever play it. But I have a weird, sick obsession with it. And I was playing it the other day, and usually when I play Heroes of the Storm, I play like solo lane. This is very niche, I apologize. I play solo lane, and people love to get mad at me because everyone wants to blame everybody else for their own problems or whatever, right? It's an online video game, just how people are. And the other day, I had a team of people that were like super cool. They were really nice to play with. They were very charming. And so I felt inclined to talk to them, you know, just message, like, just get in chat and talk and not just be alone by myself. And at one point, I got attacked by one of the enemies, an Illidan, if anybody plays. I got attacked by an Illidan, and I go, hey, I can't beat this guy. He's, like, too good or whatever. Every time I go up against him, it's just like, yikes. And everybody in the chat turned. Me saying yikes was the equivalent of me, like, shooting the president in the face. They were so upset that I said the word yikes, and now I'm questioning everything. I'm like, is yikes bad? Do people feel weird about yikes? I don't know. Yeah, they acted like I was like the weirdest guy on earth. Like, oh, you said yikes, you must be like a 5-year-old. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it weirded me out. I was like, we got a problem with yikes? Like, there's so many worse things in this world than yikes. Anyway, figured I'd put that out there. So that was my experience the other day. I said the word yikes and I got treated like a war criminal. I'm starting to realize that this is a really bad looking sync, but it kind of fits the aesthetic of what we're doing here, so I'm going to keep it. I don't care if it's bad. That is pretty yikes. Honestly, what game again? Here's the Storm. Blizzard's MOBA. Say what you will about Here's the Storm, because I know everyone has an opinion about it. I actually love that game. I don't love the community. The way people talk on that game is like, are we 4 years old? Like, do we hate everything that's ever existed before? But as far as the gameplay goes and like the flow state you get into, I actually really like that game. I don't care if it's fake League of Legends or whatever. I don't care what people say about it. It's a great game. You just have to turn off chat and not talk to anybody ever. Because if you talk to those people, they're yikes. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it upon ourselves to make a faucet. Instantly, I want to make like the world's worst faucet. I kind of want to do the exact same thing we did to the shower, but for a faucet. And it actually makes me want to redo the shower as well. Okay, I'm going to try this. Here we go. I actually think I have a good idea for once in my godforsaken life. No, not Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm. Yes, aka a very streamlined MOBA where people blame everybody but themselves for every problem. Yeah, it's insane. It's the only game I've ever played where when you play on ranked mode, the people on ranked mode are nicer than people in casual. Like, I've never experienced that before. I'm sure that's true for other games. I'm sure you can name games where that's true. But, like, TF2. If you play pickup games, pugs as they call them, if you play a pug, people get way angrier. When I played Hearthstone, if you're on ladder on Hearthstone, the people are like way more aggressive and like spamming taunts and all sorts of stuff like that. What other competitive games have I played? I went to an OSU tournament once. The people who play OS at tournaments are like mega aggressive and weird. Just bizarre. I don't know. I don't know what people get inside their head. All right, subdivision is gonna be the worst thing. Yeah, let's not do that. We're gonna manually do all of this. So, how do we want to do this? I think what I want to do is I want to dissolve. No. I want to merge down like that. Yep, that'll work. And get going. All right, so we are here, and this should begin to look a little familiar. This should look just about fine, I think. No, we got to apply scale. And then I'm going to get into material editing. And dare I say, we have gotten so much more done today than we did, like, all last stream. You should show the scene statistics on the stream. Shame the game ain't on Steam. If this game has any form of anti-cheat, it will break Litris? What are we talking about? You should show the scene statistics on stream. Simo, do you want to lead me through that? I would not mind doing that, but you're going to have to help me. I probably want to use a sharp, honestly. There we go. That should do just about fine. And now I kind of think I just want to dissolve this edge. To circle icon on the top right. Okay, this guy. To circle icon on the top right. This guy. Scene statistics. Is this guy? Statistics. I see. Yep, you got it. Hey, that's actually really nice. I've been looking for that. Okay, good. Good. I can live with that. I've been looking for that option for a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to merge by distance. And now I should be able... Someday save it to the default scene. Oh, I'm going to do that as soon as stream ends today. I hate to worry you guys, but I am the kind of person that changes my default scene like every time I use Blender. This isn't going to work, is it? No, not at all. If I go... Oh, I could just divide them. As you should. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's good practice. You know what? Actually, no, I take it back. I don't want to do this because I know it's going to overlap. Litris is a Linux compatibility tool. When on Steam, you can use Proton, which is a way... Yes, okay, we talked about this. We got our Mr. Linux in the house. You know what? I should just dissolve these faces, and then I can do it all I want. Oh, why does it look so bad? You know what? No. I'm over it. I did apply scale. But I'm over it because I kind of want it to be blocked. This is going to look a lot better if I just keep it low poly. It's going to look infinitely better if I low poly this bad boy. That is a lot of good information to have right there. Love that. Okay, cool. So let's get into this. Thank you, Simo. Simo, you're always doing the most. Don't know what we would do without you. I probably, thinking realistically, I probably just want to do this. In fact, I might even just make it flush up top here. Kind of want to do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to merge at last. Same thing here. We have ourselves a weird little like ramp thing that's going to connect to the wall. I don't like the look of that. I don't love the way that looks. So instead we're going to do this, and I'm just going to take the front faces and pull them down. Bada boom, we got ourselves a little chute. Something that might sell the effect a little bit better, and I think this is the end. I think we'll be done after this. Is that. Oh, no. It doesn't super work, though, because I want to keep the size the same. So if I just take you and I scooch you over by negative 0.2, and I scooch you over by positive 0.2, we're good. Right? That ain't that bad. Look at that. Yeah, that's a great sync. That'll do right there. So that comes over here. So we got one of these little fancy things that you always see in like hotel bathrooms. And it's going to be like a little glass bottom. We might even put like a little bit of a texture in there, like rocks or something. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what the sink looks like. So now I just got to go ahead and put a little bit of a spigot above here that drops some water into it, and then we're set to go. You know what? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this, and I kind of want to bring it back over by like -1. That's not what I wanted. -0.1. -0.01. Move you over by 0.01. There we go. Just a little bit less bad than it was before. Okay, bada boom. I know what Simo's thinking at the top of Simo's head. It looks a little bit weird that such a flat object is sitting next to such a curvy object. I'm thinking about it. I don't know how to fix it yet. We'll get there. So let's make ourselves a little sink. We're going to go ahead and pop this guy on over to here. Just bring you on down. I'm going to bring it nice and up just a little bit, and then we can go straight into edit, grab you, pull you forward, and drop some water in. If we're feeling extra fancy, I probably want to make this out of a curve. So I'm going to do that. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a curve, and I'm going to use a Bezier, which is exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it. I don't care what you say. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and rotate him a full 180 degrees, like that. And we are set. So I can just put him back, scale him down, bring him forward. Come on now. There we go, all the way. And now we're going to do the piece de resistance. We're going to bring it nice and tall. Like that. Scale it down just a little bit more. Bring it forward just a little bit more. And now I need to go into edit mode. I need to grab you and move you forward. And you can come up just a little bit. No, it's fine just like that, actually. This should be all right. We're gonna stick with this if I can grab it. Come on. Perfect. That is a perfect little faucet right there. So let's go ahead and edit it. I want to give it a depth of like 0.3. Oh gosh. What? Why is it flat like a silkworm? I guess I have to apply scale. Yes. 0.03. We're going to want probably like 0.06 now that I'm looking at it. And we're going to rotate it forward just a little bit so it hits correctly here. Oh, it's perfect. It looks so good. Oh, it's perfect. That's it. We're here. Cool. So that is our faucet. Pumps water down. You wash your hands in this little basin. In fact, I probably want to grab both of these and scooch them up a little bit so you have a little bit more range to get your hands in there. And now I'm questioning, should I do this for the shower? The more I think about it, the more I'm like, the shower's not going to have enough pressure if I do it this way. So it's probably fine to leave as is. We'll get back to this, though. Okay, so let's dig in. I'm going to try and add a bevel to this guy just to see if I can't get it feeling a little bit better. You studied English, right? There's any grammar that you can recommend? I'm really needing it. What do you mean, recommend? That's a difficult question to answer. When you say recommend grammar, can you give me an example of something that you're looking for, and then I'll go off on a tangent from there? Do I like it like that? I guess I like it like this. You know what probably would sell this? Let's sell the idea, because obviously what you want is a no mess solution. You don't want this to be a big messy thing. You don't want to like have to clean up water that's spilled on your back wall and stained it and stuff. So we're gonna do that and fix all of this up. Just like that. Not sure if I should read a descriptive or a normative. Okay, so here's gonna be the most annoying thing you've ever heard in your whole life. I don't know what that means. A descriptive or a normative. That's not really something that we study. So if that's like a specific thing that you're being asked to learn about English, it either gets called something different over here, or people don't think on that granular of a level when they're speaking English day to day. Yeah, what do you mean by a descriptive or a normative? I know what a descriptive is, theoretically. Like, I get the idea of a descriptive. What is a normative? Okay, so that's good. This is fine. Could it be better? I'm sure it could be better. But it's fine. This is fine. I can live with this. Okay, next. Normative is like grammar that says the rules. What? Can you give me an example? Can you give me a sentence that would be a normative, and then I'll take it from there? Like in a mandatory way. So you're saying like, are you saying like please? Like manners? I'm not sure I really understand what you're saying. Okay, it's time for flowers. So far the only flower we've been recommended is lavender. What's everybody feel? We all like lavender? The big thing about grammar. Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent. You guys stop me if you want to stop me. The big thing about grammar in English, and in American English at least, I will say, I'll do my best not to speak on behalf of other languages. But the number one thing for American grammar is you want to set up your sentences so that the person is following the sentence with the least amount of thought required. And that's not meant to be like a slight, like, oh, Americans can't think. Like, genuinely, you want to say, he took his dog on a walk. How do you do particle systems? I'm trying to scatter something. Okay. I mean, you're in the particle settings, I'm assuming, right? Okay, let's pop this glass up a little bit higher. Yes. Okay, so what are you having trouble with? What's the problem? Because normally for particle systems, you just click on the object you want, you click the particles, and then you choose the type of particle you want. I guess the first preliminary question I would have for you is, are the particles objects that you have rendered, or are you trying to render like light particles or something? Oh, and by the way, SEMO belongs to the Church of Geonodes. So SEMO is going to tell you to always use geonodes, and SEMO is kind of like the foremost expert on it. So yeah. Getting back to language. And also flowers. Please, if anybody has flower recommendations, please give them to me. Otherwise, we are doing lavender, which I'm not against, but I would like to know. I can't get the density right, and their objects, it's grass. I would probably recommend making a blade of grass and then using the hair particle system instead of the normal particle system. Use hair, and in the render settings, choose your object of grass. I'm like analyzing grammar on context, like present and past tense and modality. That makes sense. All right, Streamlabs. You're being really weird, Streamlabs. I'm like analyzing grammar on context. So give us an example. Let's hear an example. I'd love to dig in and give my my English abilities. Let's do like a little homework problem or something. Okay, so I got this set up right here. Oh, look how good that looks. That looks perfect. So when I'm doing density, the biggest thing that affects density for me is the hair length and the original render size of the object that you're using. Those are the ones that really get me hung up, and it took me a bit to learn how to work around. Okay, so as you know, of course, we're going to do some bump mapping on this guy. You think we're not going to do bump mapping? Come on, get real. We're going to add a little bit of this. We're going to go a little bit less rough on it, like that. I'm going to maybe get that going kind of crazy. Maybe that's a little bit too much now. Detail is up. Detail scale is up. No. We don't want that up. There we go. 0.5. We get in real close. I probably shouldn't be rough at all. So we're just going to leave it nice and smooth. Part of me wants to use a magic texture instead. Let's try a magic texture. Let's see what that does for us. What up, big pimps? What an entrance. Hello, Elijah. How are you doing? All right, let's go ahead and throw on a magic texture and take it from here. I'm thinking a 5 has got to be it, with a distortion of 5. and a scale of 1. Oh, that is too much. That is too crazy. No, not doing that. I like the wave texture a lot better. So we probably want... Like a Verneuil is a no-go. For sure we're not doing a Verneuil. I have a different idea. Okay, I got a different idea. We're going to take the magic texture. And we're going to use a color, a mix RGB to get this really mangled up. Okay, like modality is about expressing attitudes towards an event. There is abstermic and denonic, or deontic modality. Will, for example, is a modal certainty and is absonic. Dude, I hate to tell you, this is not what we studied in school. This is not how we studied all of this. For us, a lot of the study was about like communication. Yeah, I just like a lot of English speakers don't really think on those terms. Like even people who are like professional in English don't really do it. It's more of like a linguistics thing. Because it doesn't super benefit you in the process of writing to think like that. The thing that you focus in writing is like consistency of voicing and like using grammatic consistencies. There's more to it than that, but without like going nuts and losing ourselves in it. That's like the majority of what you do as a writer is focusing on details and like the detail and communicative process of writing, not the nitty-gritty science behind it. That's more of a linguistics thing. I don't know why this is like doing nothing. Like it's not changing anything. Why they're not interacting with each other at all. Okay, you know what? Screw it. We're just gonna keep them. We're gonna keep the wave texture as is. Yeah, it's a linguistics approach. Can you give me a sentence that you're struggling with and like ask a simple question and we'll go from there? I'm having trouble like wrapping my brain around exactly what you want to be answered. But if you give me an example, it should be pretty easy to fix or explain or whatever we have to do from there. All right, so we're pretty good here on some Q metals. Get all these little metallic objects all set up. So the big problem with fantasy, a huge problem with fantasy, is does rubber exist? And this comes up a lot when you're making things in fantasy. So I don't know if rubber exists in my fantasy or not, but I'm going to make rubber here. And if rubber doesn't exist, I will come up with a new solution, like wood or I don't know, something. So we're gonna do a little bit of rubber right here. Rubber has a little bit of a purpley vibe to it, and it's very dark. Probably has a little bit less purple than that. Rubber is very rough. It's got pretty low specular, honestly. Specular tint is the same. Sheen is high. Sheen tint is high. Clear coat, and then a little bit of roughness. That's about what you can expect of some rubber. It actually has a subsurface scattering too, but I don't want to blow up the computer, so you can pretend that it has a little bit of subsurface. I'm actually going to lighten it up just a little bit, and we're going to lower the saturation just a little bit. And that is rubber. Done. Okay? Next up, we want to get the toilet. Toilet is easy. It's porcelain. Porcelain is slightly pink. I mean, porcelain's a bunch of different colors, but I'm going to say it's slightly pink. It could be slightly pink or slightly blue, depending on what kind of porcelain you're doing. It's like mega glossy, but it's not glossy everywhere. It's glossy based on shape. So I'm going to lower the roughness down a bit. Specular's high. Clear coat's super high. Everything else is pretty normal. And then we're going to get kind of messy with that, that roughness. So let's go ahead and pop ourselves in a noise texture. And the noise texture is going to abide by the object coordinates. I'm a broken record. I know I do the same approach every time, but it works. It matters. So why not? And what you're going to want to do is make it really glossy. Like right there. And then take that, push that up, and grab just a couple of angles to make not glossy. And we're looking pretty golden. That looks just like porcelain. You're fine. No apologies needed. Give me 1 second and I'll be right on it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and up that a little bit, make it look a little bit crazier. We're going to want it pretty rough. Honestly, pretty low detail. There we go. There he is. That's porcelain. That's a little toilet. In fact, I kind of want it to be less pink. The pink is a little too prominent for me. So let's go 0.02. Toilet. Done. Okay, you know what? Actually, color me a crazy person. I kind of want to do a Fresnel on this thing. So I'm going to make the toilet like really pretty. Is there any reason to make a pretty toilet? No, but why not? Okay, so my doubt is about English grammar in general. I mean, I'm studying a huge Brazilian Portuguese grammar because I have to learn those things. Boring, but, you know. About my English, I noticed that I commit a lot of silly mistakes, like spelling and all. I mean, here I gave a lot of examples of this happening. I don't know, maybe I'm pushing myself too hard? What is the context for you learning English? Are you going to go do any sort of educational aspect of it, or is it entirely of your own self-interest? Because if there's no pressure to be like a phenomenal English speaker, then you should just take it upon yourself. I actually love this color. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this color. I'm going to go ahead and make myself an HSV far with a perfect. Bring this way up and Fresnel it. And now we just find that white. Oh no, we want the white to be the dominant color. And we put on just a little bit of this. And I want the object to be red at its corners. Like that. But we're going to darken it just a little bit. And lower the saturation a whole bunch. Part of me wants to change where the Fresnel is taking place. Let's try doing some object coordinates real quick. I'm going to be a teacher at the end of college. I can give classes in high school, for example, for English. You're going to do it in English. That's weird. Doesn't that just look super weird? Why does it look like that? Huh. Yes, in Portuguese as well. So what is expected of your curriculum? When you teach people English, are you teaching them how to, you know, order a chicken sandwich? Or are you teaching people like how to do business? Or are you teaching people like theoretical stuff? Like what is the expectation of teaching English over there? Okay, so this guy, oh, he's actually just got to be porcelain, right? I just got to do the porcelain one more time. So let's grab the porcelain, and we're going to call you porcelain. I'm going to call it pork. Oh, I spelled it completely wrong. Oh, well, too bad. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that. Okay, we'll go ahead and grab the sink, and we'll give him just a little bit of metal. I have yet to finish this because he's going to need a little knob or something up top, but I'm not that worried about it. And so far, we got ourselves a little bathroom scene. Not half bad. So I'm going to start assembling. Let's take everything and start assembling. That's probably in our best interest, I think, right now. So I'm going to grab all this. We're going to pop it back. Hello? Where'd he go? Where are they? There they are. So we're going to assemble our little bathroom scene. Get them way on over here, and let's go ahead and set up the structure. Oh. Hey! Elijah Odell. That's a cool name. I like that name a lot. Let's go ahead and pop our bedroom scene into here and figure out where the bedroom is, because there he is. There they are. Okay, so over here. Hello? Somebody just hit a piece of metal outside my window. I don't know what that was. Thank you for the follow, Elijah. Very appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to scale down, and we're going to just start sticking some of this stuff into here and making this scene work. So let's go one at a time. You first. In high school, is an Eternal 3D is dope. I think exactly the same thing. High school is an Eternal to be verb. In private courses is a little different. I learned most of my English from video games and rock music. I mean, that's how I learned Japanese, right? It is what it is. But like, what would you be expected to teach people, right? And to that point, you can learn what you need to focus on and what you don't need to focus on. If your goal is to like teach kids how to like go on vacation to the United States and order a beer, you're good. Like, your English is fine. If your goal is to teach them like complex nonsense stuff, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be a little bit crazier. Let's go ahead and rotate this a little bit more fine. Okay, is somebody mowing my front yard? Hold on. They better not be. Okay, well, if I run off of stream real quick and I go attack somebody on the side of the road, know that there's a random dude who is just like mowing the yard. I think he's mowing our neighbor's yard. We have kind of a shared yard. My neighbor is actually kind of nuts. My neighbor has a this weird setup where they keep inviting people into their house, like to live. But I'm getting that perfect 90. Perfect 90. Look at that right there. They keep inviting people to live to their house, and people keep moving in very dramatic ways. So I think the person who lives there is just insufferable or something. And I think like the landlord is starting to catch on to that, and the landlord of that property is starting to like crack down on them. Because people keep showing up and like looking at the lawn and like just doing weird stuff. So I'm pretty sure the person who owns that house, or the person who's living in that house or whatever, is just a bad tenant, and it's like starting to catch up with them. So I don't know. Maybe the person who's mowing the lawn got like contracted by the landlord, and the person who lives there is getting kicked out. I just hope they stop mowing my yard, especially while I'm streaming. That skull emote is very dope. It looks very Skeletor. You actually gave me good advice without knowing it. Thank you. No worries at all. To just I know we're good. I know we've quote unquote solved the problem or whatever. But just to be very clear with everybody, the education that I was given for English was very much about communication and was sort of ambivalent of language. So like the stuff that I learned with an English degree is stuff that I could apply to any language if I learn that language. Right? It's about how to communicate ideas and how to get a point across and stuff like that. I think the assumption is that since I was a native English speaker, I didn't need to learn the linguistics of English. So we didn't really think about stuff like that. Yeah, more communication than linguistics for sure. There's a lot of like, English stuff that I know, a lot of weird tricks and voicing and stuff like that, but when you start getting to like really specific stuff, I'd have to like get a textbook out to figure out what you're talking about. And a lot of that stuff, like normative, I don't know what that even means. I don't think I ever learned about normative speech. But, I think that's just kind of been the big mystery of English for the whole world since the dawn of time, right? English has always been this language that's like imperceivable by other people. Okay, so while I have everybody here, do you know how to make grass in Blender? I would use a plane. Okay, here's what I would do exactly. I would use a plane, a square plane, make it thin and tall. I would loop cut it once in the middle to break it into like a half, and then I would merge the top two vertices together, and then I would grab that center loop cut and I would bevel it until you get the shape that you want. That's how I would make grass, personally, just off the top of my head. Schools teach language in a terrible way, at least from my intuitive learning style. It is horrible. Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Do you know the term English as lingua franca? Lingua franca. To me, all that sounds like is Frankish. Like the language that German is descended from and English took a lot of root from. Like the linguistic center that part, quote unquote, part of English is based off of. Is that what you're asking? All right, so here's my weird vacuum shower head. You know what? I kind of like the way it was positioned before. We're going to leave it right there and put it here. And here is the size of a person. That is pretty good looking. That should do just fine. I guess it's something for non-native speakers. Do you want to try and explain it to me? I'm more than welcome to learn something new. At this point in my life, the majority of my quote-unquote English writing experience has been based off of storytelling. It's possible that I've forgotten a couple of things from school, but I don't remember anything like that. I think, okay, so I don't know if this is a cultural thing. Maybe I've tapped into something here. I'm thinking off the top of my head now. Is like English being used for international communication by speakers that do not have English as a native language? What? What does that mean? Is it like a simplified version of English that people use, or just like specific words that people use? What does that mean? What is that in practice? Okay, so something that I think we've tapped into here. I've learned a lot about the English education system, the American education system, I should say. I've learned a lot about the American education system just talking to you guys. I think I realize a big point of our education system. Our education system is obsessed, and I think this is a good thing. I'm in favor of this. But it's obsessed with teaching us quicker, more efficient ways of doing things rather than teaching us the depth of what it is that we are doing. So if you get an English degree, the college is trying to teach you to write as much as possible. It's not trying to teach you how to become like a linguist. I mean, I guess if you get a linguistics degree, it's different. But like your goal with a writing degree is to become efficient and to like learn to do large volumes of work as quickly as possible. And I think that's true for a lot of English degrees. Like when I did physics, we didn't learn more and more complicated physics. We learned to like smarter ways to do the physics that we were doing in greater volume. So, you know, instead of solving a math problem, here's how to solve 10 of them at one time using this like procedure. And that was a big part of my education, was like how to do volume of a profession. So I don't know if that's like touching into something that's culturally different. All right, Sniper, you're good. No worries. Things are getting kind of dense over here. Well, there's a lot of studies about it. I think I can send you some articles on Discord if you like. I mean, I'm not going crazy for English at this point. I just do what I do. To the point though, I do think I might be tapped out on the English part of the conversation. So I'm gonna go ahead and cap off our English talk now. Just because I feel like we've been kind of going in circles for a little bit. So we're back to this. I was about to drop some grass knowledge. Oh well. You know, that's just how Sniper is. All right, so for everybody, please don't forget that we do voting on Discord now. You all have about half an hour until... Hello? What the heck is going on? You all have about half an hour until we... Where is it? I'm missing it. I lost it. We have half an hour until I'm going to be doing a speed sketch. So if you all would like to get your ideas in for a speed sketch, now would be your time. Now would be the time to do so. You just go to the Discord, and there is a channel called Voting. You drop one word. I'm going to combine the best 3 of them together, and I'm going to try and make something in 30 minutes off of that speed sketch. So I hope we get good stuff, to put it lightly. Okay, so we're just about set. I think we actually nailed it today. You know, I've been very distracted. We've been going kind of all over the place, which, you know, is kind of par for the course around here. But I gotta say, I think we kind of nailed it. This is looking pretty good. Oh, I still gotta do the plant. I forgot about the plant. So we're gonna make ourselves a little bit of lavender for this pot that we have. We're gonna pop the pot into the wall, and we should be set to go. So let's go ahead and rotate this. Get this nice and plugged into here. Now, there's probably a way that I could be, like, getting things really close to the angles here on the wall, but I don't know how to do it, so I'm not doing it. Instead, I'm just kind of judging based off of the look, which is usually fine for me. And I ask myself, is that close enough? Nah, the plumbing should probably be a bit closer. All right. We'll take it from there. So, what are we up to? We got ourselves a planter. Let's put it against the wall. And I'm trying to think of anything else I would add to this bathroom scene, assuming I have a little bit of extra time. I suppose we should wait and see if we have the time before we do it, but that's what we're going for. Pop this guy on into here. And we're good. The dude outside my window who decided to start mowing the lawn is already done, which is weird. It's been like 5 minutes. It's not a small lawn either, so I don't know what they're doing. A little bit worrying, honestly. They just decided they gave up. They got a call from the landlord, and the landlord's like, oops, wrong house or something. Who knows? We have a real problem on our street of people like not knowing which house is which is weird because we have numbers on all of our houses clear as day. They're in the normal spot that every house in the area has numbers at. But like every time you get Grubhub or something, they deliver to the wrong house. Every single time. I don't know why. If you're not paying attention, like, you know, the neighbors will just steal your food. It is weird. I don't know. I've never been in a place where that's a thing. And I don't live in like a super weird neighborhood, so it's kind of strange to think why it's happening here. Okay. Dare I say, back on out of here. Dare I say we've done it. Look at this. So we got a little man, and this is a little house. Should probably make them just a little bit bigger. I think the scale is a little off. So he's got himself a little bit of a house. Let's go ahead and put a mirror on here, and then we're probably set to go. Do I keep procrastinating making the flower? Maybe. Maybe I am. My street does not exist in Google Maps. How does that work? How do you get anything? How do you get anything done? What do I want to do here? I think I want to start with a plane. We're going to rotate this guy 90 degrees. I messed up my X and my Y for some reason, but this is fine. It's rough. Yeah, so if you get like a delivery or something, you're screwed, right? Actually, bathroom mirrors always go wide. They're always wide like this. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to go ahead and just pop in. We're going to do 2 and 2. And I'm going to grab this guy and scale him out. Oh, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Instead, I want to scale these guys out to make a nice little frame for us. Just a nice little simple frame. Perfect. There he is. And I can go ahead and make the frame. I have to pay attention to the street and give a lot of reference points. Man, I feel like if I were a delivery person, which I used to be, I was a delivery guy for a while, If I was a delivery guy and that was like the situation, I'd be like, I'm good. Catch you next time. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so we're going to do this, 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 and this. And isn't there a way to do custom? There's a way to do like custom bevels, right? You know what? I don't want to do custom bevels. Instead, I'm going to do it like this. This should do just fine. And now what I need to do is grab you, and we're going to control our way around. Just like that. Nope, nope, nope. Don't do that. Make sure we are selecting everything that we don't want. Right there. So this guy should be able to be pushed backwards. Like that. And then I should be able to grab you. Oh, this is going to get awkward super quick. Oh, I've chosen a weird way to do this. This is not normal. What I should have done is inset holes into this face, but I didn't think to do that. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to bevel that. You know what? Actually, I should probably also just bevel this. So let's bevel this as well. And then I think we're set. There we go. If I lower this just a little bit. Oh, I hate that ridge. Why do we have that ridge there? Maybe we also want to... You know what? I think I see it. I think I know how to fix this problem real fast. We're going to go as extremely fast as possible because I know I'm now running out of time. Despite saying that I had good time a second ago, I think we're actually running out of time. So we're going extremely fast on all of this. And we should be good. All right. I gotta say, doing delivery work is sort of like the unsung hero of the modern world. The people who deliver, like, everything. Food, Amazon packages. I mean, I say Amazon, but anybody doing just general, like, package delivery. These guys, they do not get thanked enough for the work that they do. The time that I spent doing delivery, I experienced basically the worst that humanity has ever offered. I've worked every job under the sun. Got rid of the suggestions? Okay, so the suggestions are now in Discord in the voting section. So go ahead and type your suggestion over there. And we will we'll make the most of it. Junie, thank you very much for being proactive about the voting. It's very nice. Yeah, people who do deliveries. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about delivery that brings the worst out of people. I think it's, you know, there's that assumption about internet culture. And I think a lot of people live in this bubble. I'm gonna get back to that question in just a second that you just said. I think people live in a weird bubble on the internet. You know, I shouldn't be the one to say this. I'm sure everybody realizes this. But so many people live in a bubble where if you yell at somebody on the internet, you know, there's no repercussion in doing so, right? They're not real. It's the internet. I can't get in trouble for yelling at a random person on the internet because they don't exist. They're an avatar. And those people more and more come out of the cracks into the real world. You know, you have your Karens that go to, like, yell at cashiers about coupons or whatever. But there is something about delivery drivers where you're not a person. I guess it's because you're going to leave, because you're not there for a long period of time and they can get away with it. But people lose their minds at delivery drivers. Like, you are as close to being like an anonymous internet character to them as anything else in this world. And I guess that's a point of contention. I guess that's a reason to get upset at a stranger. When I was working as a delivery driver, the amount of people who would get upset at me when things went well, when things were good, right? Here's your delivery. Everything there okay? Yep, that's everything. I'm going to start yelling at you. It's like, okay, did I miss something? No. Was it delivered late? No. So you're just mad? Yeah. And I'm the first human contact that you've had in, X amount of time? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool, I guess. That's the sort of unfortunate byproduct of the internet age. Oh, really? Here we love them. They bring us food. How not to love them. I agree with you. That's like a very specifically American problem. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it exists everywhere. But like, it's such an American thing where like people get mad at retail workers. And it's like, that this person didn't determine the price. This person didn't make the rules. In fact, they have no power to make any rules whatsoever. If this minimum wage worker spoke up once against their manager, they get fired. Why are you mad at them? They have literally no control over anything. Yeah, it's very strange to me. It's a very weird thing that people do over here. It's one of my biggest gripes with the United States. Because it just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so you've asked me if I can sing you a song. No. To put it lightly, no. I do sing. I do music. I've done music for a long time. I really enjoy music. But that's not the point of what we're doing here. That's not the energy that we're conjuring. So I'm not going to do that. Look how perfect that looks. Look at that. I do plan on releasing music eventually. I do have plans to do some stuff with music. And I will gladly share it when it comes time. But for the time being, it's not a part of this. Look at this. This is good. This is perfect. So we're gonna get this guy really close. Yep, just right there. We'll put a little. Actually, it probably shouldn't be that close because we gotta put a knob on that guy. Okay, let's texture him up. I want to get rid of this big giant structure. Probably want to get rid of the bedroom as well. And now we can focus on this. Be back in a bit. No worries. Hey, Junie, did you not make a suggestion on Twitch? I thought you were about to suggest something. Not to panic a little bit, but nobody's made any suggestions, and we got 20 minutes. If nobody makes a suggestion, then I'm just going to make something up. Because I really enjoy the speed sketch segment. I think it's a really good learning opportunity for me. But I usually appreciate when people suggest something. Makes it a little bit easier to wrap your brain around. Okay, so I want to make this... Don't I already have a mirror? I do already have a mirror. So I'm going to assign this to the mirror. And then slot 1 is going to go to Q wood. And do we want it to just be normal wood like that? I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that one bit. Looks pretty good. Let's try, instead of Q wood, let's do Q gold. You're thinking of what could be interesting? Are you going to join me, Simo? Do something that you want in your sketch, and then we'll that way it can be useful to you. Okay, so tell you what I want to do here is grab this mirror. Oh, it's fine. This should be all right. Okay, cool. So now I can grab this flower pot, and let's go ahead and make a little bit of terracotta. Have I already made terracotta? No, that's a rug. I should really have named it. I don't know why I didn't name it. So we'll go ahead and just make some terracotta. Terracotta, really nice, really easy. Terracotta, in my mind, looks like this. That is just about what terracotta looks like. We'll go ahead and add some abrasives to it. I'm trying really hard not to sneeze. I'm right on the edge of a sneeze. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to overcome. And we're good. Okay, so we're on texture coordinates. Object, and actually I want to put a color ramp in here. Bada boom, color ramp, we're good. Okay, so we've done this a million times, but for anybody that's new, you put detail high, you put dimension low, it gives you this nice criggly-craggly looking thing. And then what you want to do is take your color ramp and isolate pieces of that, and then invert it. And you have yourself a little bit of terracotta. I'm going to lower the strength on it, and that's it. Took all of 2 seconds to do that. Pretty easy, pretty nice. Nothing to really think about too much. So next up, let's do the dirt. Dirt is basically all going to be a bump map for us. Dirt is like really high roughness, but it's also really high specular. It has clear coat. The clear coat has low roughness to simulate being wet. Sheen is gone. We don't want sheen. That's dirt. Done. Easy. Problem solved. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to throw a bump on here, and we're going to make it super, super messy. Off the top of my head, I kind of think a noise texture is all we need. But I could be wrong. We definitely need an object texture. Or an object coordinate. So we pop in, we go like 30. We up that detail quite a bit. Lower the scale down just a little bit. To like 15 maybe. That detail is out of control. There we go. That looks like dirt. And then I'll go ahead and throw just a little bit of distortion to get these streaks in there. Make it look like something's gone through it. Like you've taken a little fork to it or something. So we'll take it from there. Simo has suggested a harpoon for us, which I'm a big fan of. Color me a big old fan of a harpoon. Now, if I were a better 3D modeler than I am right now, I would love to put like worn paint onto here, like paint that's chipping off. But 1, I don't know how to do that. 2, it would take a little bit of effort. So we're going to hold off on that today, but might be something I want to learn for next time. Here we go. Boom. Little flower pot with a little bit of flour. And by flour, I mean dirt, because flour is a dust that you bake with, and somehow that got stuck in my brain. Okay, so let's go ahead and make lavender. So I want to go online. I'm going to find myself a picture of lavender. We're going to pop it up on stream, and I'm going to try and make lavender for 10 minutes. Ooh, I don't have time to make lavender, do I? You know what? Let's look at lavender real quick, and I'm going to make an assessment. We're looking at lavender. Part of me is really thinking that I should make a lavender harpoon. I should force us to use lavender in the harpoon. Just really throw a monkey wrench in there. I feel like Simo would have an interesting way of doing that versus the way that I think I would do it. Yeah, that's typically what I think of when I think of lavender right there. I think I could kind of make lavender pretty quick. I'm definitely not going to be able to finish a model of a harpoon, but I'm going to make concepts. What do you mean you're not going to finish a picture of, or a harpoon? There's no way. Harpoons are easy. You tell me you can't make this in 30 minutes? Simo, you can do anything. I kind of like the old school harpoons, too. That's a cool look. But textures and everything also going to be a rifle harpoon. Okay, well you didn't write rifle harpoon, so I'm not bound by those rules. Yeah, I'm gonna make a harpoon in like 2 seconds, man. It's gonna be the easiest thing I've ever done. Okay, there's some weird stuff on here. Okay, so I'm thinking let's add lavender to the mix. I'm gonna say lavender harpoon. I'm going to go ahead and write it just like that. And so we got ourselves a nice little lavender harpoon. Hello, I'm back. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the first part of the stream right here. Take a nice little stretch. That's the stuff right there. So that is the first part of the stream. Nice and done. I'm going to go ahead and call it there.